The mysterious arrival. In the quiet dark of space, far from the busy trade routes, the starship Celestial Dawn glided silently through the void. Its crew had long grown used to the calm nights of deep space, where the only sounds were the soft hum of the engines and the gentle beeping of instruments. But on this day, something unusual stirred in the vast emptiness. The crew first noticed a faint glimmer of light on the edge of their radar. It was not a star or a planet, but a strange, distant object that seemed to move against the flow of cosmic dust. Captain Alina Marsh, a woman known for her careful mind and steady hand, ordered her officer to focus the sensors. As the readings came in, a mix of confusion and curiosity spread through the bridge. The object was a ship unlike any they had seen before. The new vessel was not marked by the usual designs of the known empires. It had a shape that was both elegant and mysterious, with smooth curves that suggested advanced technology. Its exterior glowed with an otherworldly light, a pale blue radiance that shimmered like water under a full moon. The crew of the Celestial Dawn exchanged glances. They had heard legends of ancient ships and lost empires, but they had never imagined encountering one with their own eyes. Lieutenant Rowan, the ship's young navigator, was the first to break the silence. "Captain, this ship does not match any records in our database," he said in a clear, steady voice. His hands trembled slightly as he adjusted the controls, trying to get a better look at the mysterious vessel. The bridge filled with a low murmur of surprise and awe. Captain Marsh leaned forward, her eyes narrowing as she studied the screens. "Open a live feed from the sensors and try to capture as many details as possible," she ordered. The display showed the mysterious ship drifting slowly, as if it were sentient and aware of every eye that watched it. It moved with a calm grace, almost like a living creature that had come to search for something or someone. As the minutes passed, the tension on the bridge grew. Every crew member felt a mix of excitement and worry. They had no idea if this ship was friend or foe. The silence of space was broken only by the soft clicking of buttons and the steady hum of the engines. Outside, the endless blackness of the universe provided a stark contrast to the vibrant glow of the newcomer. In the mess hall, away from the prying eyes of the command crew, a small group of engineers and technicians whispered among themselves. "What if this ship is a remnant of the old empire?" One technician asked. The old empire was a topic often spoken of in hushed tones, a time when a powerful civilization ruled many star systems with wisdom and strength. Their technology was said to be far advanced, and their secrets deep and dangerous. The possibility that this ship belonged to that legendary era sent a shiver of both hope and fear down every spine. Captain Marsh remained calm. She knew that caution was the best approach. "Keep monitoring the ship closely," she said over the intercom. "I want all departments to be ready. We do not know what to expect from this vessel." Her voice was firm, yet there was a hint of curiosity that showed her true feelings. Deep inside, she was thrilled by the possibility of discovering something ancient and powerful. Outside the windows of the Celestial Dawn, the mysterious ship floated closer. Its light grew stronger, bathing the surrounding stars in a soft, enchanting glow. The ship seemed to pulse with life, as if it had a heartbeat that resonated with the rhythm of the universe. The crew could feel this strange energy even through the thick walls of their ship. At last, the ship came to a gentle stop, not far from the Celestial Dawn. It hovered quietly, as if waiting for an invitation or a signal. The silence in the control room was almost deafening. For a long time, no one moved. Every eye was fixed on the screen, every ear attuned to the faintest sound. The bridge felt like the calm before a great storm, a moment of peace before an explosion of events that would change everything. Captain Marsh slowly reached for the communication panel. "This is Captain Marsh of the Celestial Dawn. We come in peace. Please identify yourself," she said in a clear, calm tone. The words echoed softly in the empty space between the two ships. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. In that instant, as the two ships floated in silent harmony, the promise of a new adventure was born. The mysterious ship had arrived, carrying with it secrets of a lost empire and the potential for a future filled with wonder and danger. The crew of the Celestial Dawn braced themselves for whatever was to come, ready to face the unknown with courage and hope. And so, in the quiet depths of space, the mystery had begun, a mystery that would soon change the course of history for all who sailed among the stars. The mockery begins. Back at the Great Fleet headquarters, word of the mysterious ship spread like wildfire. The fleet commanders gathered in the main control room, their faces lit by the glow of holographic displays that showed the ship drifting silently in space. The mood was light at first, filled with confident laughter and easy smiles. They had seen many strange vessels over the years, and most of them had turned out to be nothing more than broken relics of the past. General Marcus Hale, a seasoned leader known for his bold yet sometimes overconfident ways, was the first to speak. "Look at that ship," he said with a dismissive chuckle, pointing at the image on the screen. "It seems old and frail. How could something like this ever be a threat?" His voice carried an air of superiority that made some of the younger officers snicker. Among the group was Lieutenant Sarah Kim, a sharp and observant officer who rarely joined in the mockery. As she watched the display, she noted small details that others seemed to ignore. There was a slight shimmer around the ship's hull, a shimmer that did not fit the usual pattern of decay or rust. She frowned and leaned closer to her console, her fingers quickly tapping through logs and old records. What if there is more to this ship than meets the eye? Lieutenant Kim wondered aloud, her tone cautious but firm. Her colleagues, however, were too busy laughing and exchanging jokes about the old ghost of a ship. One officer even mimicked a creaky old engine noise, and the room filled with laughter. Across the control room, a group of engineers and analysts gathered around their workstations, carefully reviewing the data coming in. They noted that the ship's energy readings were unusually steady, almost as if it was being powered by a force far more advanced than any technology known to them. But their findings were quickly dismissed by many. "It's just an old ship with old tricks," one engineer said, barely hiding his amusement. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Celestial Dawn, Captain Alina Marsh listened to the chatter from the fleet headquarters with a mix of concern and quiet amusement. She had been part of the initial encounter and knew the ship was not as weak as it appeared. Her instincts told her that there was a secret hidden beneath the ship's worn exterior. "Do not be too hasty to judge," she said softly to herself, recalling the strange, calm energy of the vessel. As the fleet's mockery grew louder, small groups of officers began to plan light-hearted pranks. They joked about sending a small shuttle to give the ship a friendly tap on the hull, or even to perform a humorous dance in space. These ideas, while silly, were a way for them to mask their own nervousness about facing something unknown. General Hale laughed heartily at the suggestion, his booming voice echoing through the control room. Yet, Lieutenant Kim could not shake her worry. She knew that history often repeated itself in unexpected ways. In her quiet moments, she remembered tales of ancient battles where the underestimated enemy had turned the tide of war. There was a lesson in every myth, and she feared that the fleet's laughter might lead to a dangerous underestimation of what lay ahead. Determined to uncover the truth, Lieutenant Kim spent hours poring over old star maps and records of ancient fleets. She found whispers of a forgotten empire that once ruled the stars with unmatched power. Some records mentioned a ship much like the one they now observed, a ship that had the power to change the fate of entire fleets. Each piece of data made her heart beat faster with a mix of fear and anticipation. Her concerns reached Captain Marsh's ears, and the captain decided to call a meeting with a select group of officers, including Lieutenant Kim. In a quiet conference room away from the boisterous laughter of the main hall, they discussed the findings in serious tones. "We cannot let our pride blind us," Captain Marsh warned. "Underestimating an enemy, even one that seems weak, can lead to our downfall." Her words were calm, yet full of authority, and the officers listened intently. The meeting ended with a plan. They would send a small, stealthy team to take a closer look at the mysterious ship. The team was to report back with clear observations, especially focusing on that strange energy shimmer Lieutenant Kim had noticed. The idea was to gather more facts before the fleet took any more risks. The mood was now mixed, a blend of lingering mockery and a dawning realization that perhaps their laughter was misplaced. Back in the fleet headquarters, as preparations for the exploratory team began, the laughter had subsided into a cautious silence. Officers who had mocked the ship earlier now exchanged uncertain looks. It was as if the gravity of the situation was slowly seeping in. Yet many still clung to their old beliefs, insisting that the ship was nothing but an old relic without any real power. In the corridors of the massive space station, small groups whispered rumors and theories. Some said that the ship was a sign of a new threat, rising from the remnants of a long-forgotten empire. Others believed it to be nothing more than a lucky fluke, a harmless wanderer lost in the vastness of space. The conversations were simple, using basic words to express their mix of wonder, fear, and doubt. As night fell on the fleet headquarters, the stars outside shone brightly, indifferent to the human dramas unfolding below. The mysterious ship continued its silent drift, its secrets hidden beneath layers of ancient design and unknown power. In the hearts of a few thoughtful officers, a small seed of caution was planted. They knew that sometimes the quietest voice holds the loudest truth, and in that quiet, the ship waited, as if preparing for the next chapter of an unfolding destiny. Thus, while laughter echoed in some halls, a different kind of awareness began to spread among those who had the courage to look deeper. The mockery had begun, but beneath it lay the potential for a turning tide. A tide that would soon challenge everything they believed about strength, power, and the strange signals. In the days following the fleet's light-hearted mockery, the mysterious ship continued to drift silently near the celestial dawn. Life aboard the ship had returned to its usual routine, but a new event was soon to break that calm. One quiet evening, while most crew members were finishing their shifts or sharing soft conversations in the mess hall, a strange signal began to echo through the ship's communication systems. It started as a low, pulsing hum, so soft it could have been mistaken for background noise. However, Lieutenant Rowan, who was on duty at the sensor station, detected an unusual pattern in the signal. With careful concentration and steady hands, he adjusted the dials and increased the signal strength. Soon, the crew could see a series of faint, rhythmic pulses displayed on the main screen. A code, perhaps, coming from the mysterious vessel. Captain Alina Marsh was the first to notice the shift. She walked to the sensor station and peered at the display, her eyes narrowing in concentration. "What are you picking up, Lieutenant?" she asked, her voice calm but edged with curiosity. Lieutenant Rowan replied, "It appears to be a sequence of signals. They are too regular to be random noise. It might be a communication, or even a command sequence from the other ship." His words, simple yet sincere, stirred a mix of excitement and unease among the gathered crew. The signal, now louder and more distinct, revealed an odd mix of tones and beeps, a language of numbers and pauses that none of them had seen before. The pattern was not like any standard emergency code or distress call used by known empires. It was as if the ship was sending a message in a forgotten language. The crew quickly set to work, collecting data and cross-checking the code with old databases. In the command center, Lieutenant Sarah Kim joined the discussion. Her earlier warnings and careful observations now seemed even more relevant. "I have seen similar patterns in ancient texts and records," she explained in simple, steady language. "This signal might be connected to the old empire we talked about. It could be a call for help, or perhaps a challenge to those who dare underestimate it." Her colleagues exchanged uneasy glances. The playful mockery from earlier days was now being replaced by a sense of cautious respect for the unknown. As the hours passed, the signal grew more complex. The crew worked together, using basic tools and their accumulated knowledge to decode the message. Every discovery added another piece to the puzzle. Some parts of the code resembled mathematical sequences, while others looked like symbols that could be linked to a long-forgotten language. The room filled with murmurs of wonder and determination. Even the officers who had once laughed at the mysterious ship now leaned in closer, their earlier mockery giving way to genuine concern. Captain Marsh ordered that the full recording of the signal be sent to the fleet headquarters for further analysis. "We need every expert we can get to understand what this means," she instructed. Her voice was firm but thoughtful. She knew that decoding the signal might take time, but it was important for the safety of not only the Celestial Dawn but the entire fleet. While some crew members pored over the signal data, others began to notice something even stranger. The pulse of the signal seemed to cause a subtle change in the ship's systems. Lights flickered in a pattern that matched the tone, and the ambient sound of the engines seemed to synchronize with the rhythm. It was as if the ship itself was reacting to the signal, a sign that the message was more than just a broadcast. It was a call that awakened something deep within the vessel. The atmosphere aboard the Celestial Dawn changed that night. The usual chatter and light banter were replaced by thoughtful silence and focused work. Even in the quiet corridors, crew members spoke in low voices about the possibility that the ship was more than a relic. It was a living archive of ancient power. Every member of the crew could feel the tension of the unknown, the stir of something great and mysterious in the very air they breathed. In a small conference room, a team of scientists and engineers gathered around a table cluttered with data printouts and holographic displays. They worked through the night, piecing together the fragments of the signal with the care of detectives, following a faint trail. Their simple, clear discussions were full of wonder. "It is like listening to a heartbeat that has been hidden for centuries," one scientist remarked in a measured tone. The room nodded in agreement, the gravity of the situation settling on everyone present. As dawn approached, and the signal continued unabated, the crew understood that this was no ordinary event. The strange signal was a direct connection to the ship's mysterious origins, a silent voice from the past that demanded to be heard. In that moment, the Celestial Dawn and its crew became part of a much larger story, one that stretched back to the days of a forgotten empire and promised revelations that could change the future of space travel. The signal pulsed on, each beat a quiet invitation to uncover secrets hidden in the dark, vast space. And as the crew of the Celestial Dawn prepared for what was to come, the mystery deepened, drawing them into a story where every pulse could be the start of a new adventure, and every beat a clue to a truth that had been waiting silently for centuries. The Awakening. Late one silent hour, as the Celestial Dawn drifted near the mysterious ship, a sudden change came over the vessel. The quiet hum of space was replaced by an eerie energy that seemed to awaken something deep inside the ancient craft. Slowly, the ship's exterior began to shimmer with a soft light, as if life was being breathed into its very structure. On the bridge of the Celestial Dawn, the crew gathered around the main screen. The display showed the mysterious ship pulsing gently, its smooth curves now alive with flickering lights. Captain Elena Marsh and her officers watched with wide eyes. The ship, which had appeared cold and silent only moments before, now radiated a warm blue glow that pulsed in time with an unseen heartbeat. Lieutenant Rowan was the first to speak. "Captain, the ship is reacting to the signal we received," he said in a calm but excited tone. His voice carried a mix of wonder and caution. The officers exchanged glances, their earlier skepticism replaced by a sense of awe. They had witnessed many things in their years among the stars, but nothing like this. As the minutes passed, the change in the ship became more pronounced. The once still vessel began to move in a smooth, deliberate motion. Its engines hummed softly, not with the roar of power, but with a gentle vibration that resonated throughout the surrounding space. It was as if the ship was awakening from a long sleep, stretching out after centuries of rest. Back in the communication room, Lieutenant Sarah Kim reviewed the incoming data. The readings confirmed that the energy levels of the ship had surged dramatically. "This is not normal," she stated, her voice steady and clear. "The ship is not just active. It is alive in a way we cannot fully understand." Her words echoed in the quiet corridor, drawing a respectful silence from her colleagues. As the mysterious vessel continued its transformation, its lights began to shift in color. The pale blue glow deepened, then gradually changed to a mix of silver and white. The patterns on its hull, once hidden in darkness, now became visible. Strange symbols and designs glowed faintly, as if they were part of an ancient language. These markings, long dormant, told a story of a time when this ship was a proud guardian of a vast empire. Captain Marsh felt a chill run down her spine. She remembered the old legends of a powerful civilization that had mastered both technology and the forces of nature. Could this ship be one of those relics? Her thoughts were interrupted when the ship suddenly emitted a low musical tone, a sound that filled the bridge with an almost hypnotic quality. The sound was neither threatening nor benign. It was as if the ship was calling out in a language only the stars could understand. The crew's eyes remained fixed on the screen, each pulse and flash of light telling a silent story. The mysterious ship now seemed to be communicating through its very presence. Its lights danced in patterns that mimicked the pulse of a living heart, and its energy resonated with the ambient sounds of space. Even the steady hum of the celestial dawn seemed to blend with this newfound rhythm, creating a symphony of cosmic proportions. Inside the engine room of the Celestial Dawn, technicians noticed a subtle change in their own ship's systems. The energy from the mysterious vessel appeared to be influencing their instruments. Screens flickered with patterns that matched the ship's glow, and even the temperature in the room seemed to shift ever so slightly. Some technicians whispered that it was as if the ship's awakening was spreading a silent power to everything around it. In the mess hall, a few crew members gathered, their voices hushed with wonder. They spoke in simple words about the magic of the moment. "It is like the ship is waking up from a long dream," one said, while another remarked, "I have never seen anything so beautiful and strange." Their conversation was filled with a mix of excitement and a touch of fear. They sensed that this awakening was only the beginning of something much larger than they could imagine. Captain Marsh, standing at the observation window, looked out into the vast darkness of space. The mysterious ship floated gracefully nearby, its every movement purposeful and calm. She felt a deep connection to that moment, a feeling that the ship was a messenger from a forgotten past, carrying with it secrets that might one day change the course of their future. She quietly resolved to understand its mysteries, knowing that every discovery could hold the key to protecting her crew and perhaps even the entire fleet. The ship continued to pulse and glow, its transformation complete for now. It had awakened from a long slumber, and its new energy filled the space around it with both beauty and uncertainty. The crew of the Celestial Dawn was left with many questions. What was the origin of this vessel? Why had it chosen this moment to awaken? And what message was it trying to send with its silent symphony of light and sound? In that timeless moment, the boundaries between the past and the future began to blur. The ancient ship, once a silent relic, now stood as a living beacon in the dark sea of stars. Its awakening promised answers, but also a journey filled with challenges. The crew, now more united than ever, braced themselves to follow this mystery wherever it might lead. As the mysterious vessel held its steady glow against the infinite night, the universe seemed to pause and listen. The awakening was not just a change in the ship's state. It was a call to all who traveled among the stars to remember that even in the depths of space, history never truly dies. And so, with cautious hope and quiet determination, the crew of the Celestial Dawn prepared to step into the next chapter of their adventure, ready to uncover the secrets of the ship and the ancient empire it once served. The clash of forces. The calm that had filled the space around the Celestial Dawn was suddenly shattered by the roar of engines and the flash of laser fire. The mysterious ship, once quiet and graceful, now charged into battle with a power that no one had expected. Out of the dark void, enemy fighters and larger warships appeared like shadows, their intentions clear: to destroy the strange vessel that had awakened. Captain Alina Marsh stood on the bridge with a steady gaze. "All hands, prepare for combat," she said in a clear and firm voice. The crew moved quickly, following orders with practiced ease. The tension that had built up during the mysterious signal and the ship's awakening was now replaced by a sense of urgent determination. Everyone knew that the coming moments would test their strength and resolve. The enemy fleet, confident in its numbers and speed, began to attack with swift laser blasts and missile strikes. The Celestial Dawn shuddered as the first impacts struck nearby ships. However, it was the mysterious vessel that drew the enemy's attention most fiercely. The enemy commanders believed that a single old ship could not possibly hold a threat, but they were quickly proven wrong. The mysterious ship moved with precision. It dodged incoming fire, its smooth curves shifting and twisting in space. With each evasive maneuver, it sent out powerful counterattacks. Beams of light shot out from hidden weapons, striking enemy ships with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions blossomed against the backdrop of space, lighting up the darkness with a fierce glow. On the bridge of the Celestial Dawn, Lieutenant Rohan monitored the battle with wide eyes. "Captain, the enemy is not expecting this," he exclaimed. The readings on his screen showed that the mysterious ship was not only defending itself, but also taking the fight directly to the enemy. It was as if the ship had been built for battle, hiding its true strength until now. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, standing beside him, added quietly, "They underestimated its power. Every move it makes is deliberate and strong." Her words reflected the shock that many had felt earlier when the enemy fleet's confidence turned into confusion and fear. The enemy forces were forced to change their strategy. Their ships began to retreat, and the once coordinated attack fell into disarray. Some enemy captains shouted orders over their comms, trying to regroup, but the mysterious ship moved too quickly. It released a burst of energy that sent several enemy vessels spinning away, their circuits overloaded and systems failing. General Marcus Hale, who had earlier laughed at the sight of the strange ship, now watched in disbelief as the enemy fleet began to crumble under the power of the awakening vessel. His face, once filled with overconfidence, was now marked by worry. "Pull back," he ordered to his own fleet, trying to salvage what remained of their pride and strength. Outside, in the endless expanse of space, the battle raged on with a fierce intensity. The mysterious ship appeared almost like a dancer in a deadly ballet, moving gracefully among the chaos. Its lights flickered in sync with the rhythm of battle, a deep, steady pulse that seemed to guide its every move. Laser beams crisscrossed the space between the ships, and the sound of explosions echoed in the hearts of all who fought. Amid the chaos, a small squadron from the Celestial Dawn was ordered to flank one of the enemy ships that had managed to survive the initial barrage. Captain Marsh led the squadron herself, her ship darting in and out of the enemy line. With simple, clear orders, she directed her team to target weak points on the enemy vessel. One by one, the enemy ships began to fall, their hulls torn apart by the precise strikes of the Celestial Dawn and the mysterious ship. Back on the mysterious vessel, something extraordinary happened. As enemy ships exploded and drifted away, the ship's surface began to glow even brighter. Its energy surged, and a powerful shield enveloped it, a protective bubble that repelled any further attacks. The shield pulsed with the same heartbeat-like rhythm, a sign that it was not just a force of defense, but a part of the ship's living spirit. The enemy, now confused and overwhelmed by the sudden shift in battle, fell into disorganized retreat. The once confident commanders could no longer rally their forces. They watched in disbelief as their fleet was reduced to a scattering of damaged ships and drifting wrecks. The mysterious ship, with its silent, resolute power, had turned what began as mockery into a decisive victory. The battle lasted only a short time, but its impact was deep. In a matter of moments, the enemy's plan was shattered. The mysterious ship, once seen as an old relic, had proven that it was a force to be reckoned with. Its actions spoke louder than any words could, showing that true power often lies hidden, waiting for the right moment to be unleashed. As the smoke of battle cleared and the enemy fleet receded into the dark corners of space, the crew of the Celestial Dawn gathered on the bridge. They were silent, each lost in thought about what they had witnessed. The mysterious ship now floated calmly beside them, its lights dimming to a steady glow as if returning to a quiet watchfulness after the storm of battle. Captain Marsh took a deep breath and spoke softly. "Today, we learned that underestimating an unknown can be our greatest mistake. Let this victory remind us to always be cautious and to respect the strength that lies in mystery." Her words resonated with the crew, marking the end of one fierce clash and the beginning of a new chapter in their journey, one where the secrets of an ancient power were just beginning to reveal themselves in the vast, unforgiving space. And so, the clash of forces ended, leaving behind a trail of questions and the promise of more challenges to come. The turning point. In the midst of the fierce battle, a sudden shift in the flow of events marked the turning point. The mysterious ship, now engaged in combat with enemy vessels, seemed to tap into a hidden reserve of strength. As the enemy forces regrouped for another attack, the ship began to display signs of a powerful transformation. The crew of the Celestial Dawn watched in disbelief as the ship's lights brightened, its energy readings spiked, and a new force field emerged around it. This shield was different from any they had seen before. It pulsed with a vibrant rhythm, matching the beating of a heart. It was clear that the ship was activating a long-dormant defense mechanism, one that had been waiting for the right moment to turn the tide. Captain Alina Marsh observed the change with a mix of relief and awe. "This is our chance," she said calmly over the comms. Her voice was steady and filled with determination. She quickly organized her crew, ordering them to shift their focus from pure defense to launching a coordinated counterattack. The orders were simple: hit hard, hit fast, and take advantage of the enemy's hesitation. Lieutenant Rowan and his team worked at full speed, adjusting the targeting systems on the Celestial Dawn. They synchronized their weapons with the rhythm of the mysterious ship's shield, finding that its energy seemed to resonate with their own. With each precise shot, enemy ships that had once seemed unstoppable began to falter. The once dominant attackers now moved erratically, their formation breaking apart as they struggled to adjust to the new reality on the battlefield. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, whose earlier warnings had gone unheeded, now led a small squadron with clear focus. She remembered the ancient texts that spoke of hidden power and knew that underestimating the relic could be fatal. "Aim for their weak points," she instructed in simple, clear language. Her squadron followed her orders with precision, each successful strike adding to the momentum of the turning battle. Across the enemy fleet, confusion spread quickly. Their initial confidence had given way to panic as they watched their ranks crumble. The once bold commanders barked orders that fell on deaf ears, their voices lost amid the chaos of laser fire and explosions. The energy shield from the mysterious ship deflected missile after missile, and its counterattacks sent enemy vessels spiraling into the dark void of space. General Marcus Hale, who had earlier scoffed at the sight of the ancient vessel, now stood in stunned silence as he witnessed the enemy's retreat. His earlier laughter was replaced by a bitter realization that pride had almost led them to disaster. In that moment, the entire fleet felt the weight of the lesson being taught. Never underestimate the hidden power of the unknown. The battle's tide had clearly turned. The enemy fleet, once confident and well-organized, was now in full retreat. Their ships, battered and broken, drifted away like fallen leaves caught in a cosmic wind. The mysterious ship, its energy now pulsating with an undeniable force, had not only defended itself, but had turned the battle into a resounding victory for the Allied forces. As the enemy's last ship disappeared into the darkness, a profound silence fell over the battlefield. The crew of the Celestial Dawn took a moment to catch their breath. They exchanged glances of relief and wonder, realizing that what they had witnessed was more than just a victory. It was a transformation in how they understood power and resilience. Captain Marsh gathered her officers on the bridge. "Today, we have learned that the true strength of a ship lies not in its appearance, but in the spirit and secrets it holds," she said, her voice both proud and solemn. "Our victory is a reminder to us all. Never let mockery blind you to the hidden depths of power. In that defining moment, the turning point was complete. The mysterious ship, once seen as an outdated relic, had awakened a force that reshaped the battle. Its transformation and the decisive counterattack had sent a clear message to friend and foe alike. The crew of the Celestial Dawn now understood that their journey was about much more than the immediate battle. It was about unraveling the secrets of an ancient power that could one day change the fate of the entire galaxy. With the enemy fleet in retreat and the mysterious ship standing proudly among them, the stage was set for the next chapter of their epic adventure, a future filled with unanswered questions and the promise of even greater challenges ahead. Aftermath and mystery. When the last remnants of the enemy fleet vanished into the dark, silent void of space, an eerie calm settled over the battlefield. The once fiery clash of battle had ended, leaving behind only the soft hum of engines and the gentle pulse of distant stars. The mysterious ship, now a silent guardian with its lights dimmed to a steady glow, floated near the Celestial Dawn like a keeper of long-forgotten secrets. On the bridge of the Celestial Dawn, Captain Alina Marsh stood quietly, her eyes fixed on the majestic ship. The victory was clear, but the questions it raised were many. The crew, still reeling from the fierce battle, gathered in hushed groups. There was relief, yes, but also a deep curiosity that spread like a quiet whisper among them. They knew that the day's events were only the beginning of a much larger mystery. In the control room, Lieutenant Rowan reviewed the battle data with a thoughtful frown. "Our enemy underestimated the power hidden in that vessel," he said softly, his voice full of both awe and regret over their earlier mockery. His words reminded everyone that pride could lead to grave mistakes. The data on the screens confirmed that the mysterious ship's energy surged at key moments, almost as if it were guided by an unseen intelligence. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, who had long warned of the ship's potential, now took center stage. "There is much more to this ship than we can see," she explained in simple, clear language to a group of officers gathered around her. "Its design, its energy, even the symbols on its hull, they point to a history that we do not understand." Her careful analysis and steady demeanor earned respectful nods from her peers. The crew began to grasp that what they had witnessed was not just a fluke of ancient technology, but perhaps a message from a lost era. Across the deck, engineers and scientists worked together, gathering every bit of data from the ship's systems and the battle itself. They compared notes with the data sent to fleet headquarters, trying to piece together a puzzle that spanned centuries. Their work revealed strange energy patterns and symbols that echoed the language of a forgotten empire. One technician, his voice barely rising above the soft beeps of his console, remarked, "It is as if the ship carries the heartbeat of an ancient civilization." In the mess hall, small groups of crew members sat together, their conversations turning from excited recounting of the battle to whispered theories about the ship's origin. Many spoke of legends, old stories passed down by veterans of space travel, of a mighty empire that had once ruled vast parts of the galaxy. They wondered if this vessel was one of its last protectors, awakened by a signal from the past to reclaim lost honor or perhaps to warn of future dangers. Captain Marsh, ever the steady leader, called for a debriefing in the main conference room. Here, the voices of those who had witnessed the battle mixed with the weight of their new understanding. "Today, we did not only win a battle," she began in a calm, measured tone. "We have opened a door to a past filled with secrets and power. This ship, with its hidden energy and ancient symbols, is more than it appears. It is a relic of a time when strength was measured not by size or number, but by the wisdom and spirit of its creators." Her words resonated with every officer in the room. They knew that while the enemy fleet had been vanquished, a larger challenge now lay before them: to understand the true nature of the mysterious ship. The questions were many. Who built it? Why did it awaken now? And what did its power mean for the future of the galaxy? Each question hung in the air like a challenge, inviting the crew to embark on a journey of discovery. As the meeting ended, the crew dispersed with a new sense of purpose. Many returned to their posts, now tasked with the careful study of the ship's ancient symbols and energy readings. Others gathered in smaller groups, forming plans for future exploration missions to trace the origins of this incredible vessel. There was a shared hope that the ship might hold the key to solving not only the mystery of the ancient empire, but also to preventing future conflicts that could threaten all of space. Outside, the mysterious ship continued to drift in its silent vigil. Its light, though gentle, seemed to beckon the celestial dawn, and its crew to draw nearer. In its glow lay both comfort and enigma, a reminder that even in the aftermath of battle, there is beauty in mystery and strength in the unknown. In that quiet moment, the crew realized that their journey was far from over. The battle had ended, but a new chapter was just beginning. A chapter where every secret uncovered could lead to greater understanding, and every ancient symbol might tell a story of a time when the stars themselves were shaped by the hands of those who dared to dream. With cautious hope and determined hearts, the crew of the Celestial Dawn prepared to follow the silent call of the mysterious ship into the depths of history and into the promise of an unknown future.